Hey everyone, welcome to lesson 2 of the free directory course. As you can see, my backdrop has changed. I am traveling for business, so I'm in a hotel, but we need to get this course rocking. We need to learn how to use directory so we can start making some money. All right, so in this lesson, we're going to talk about categories. There's going to be 3 sections to this lesson. First, we're going to talk about how to create your categories. We have built directory to do all of the hard work for you. You literally just click a couple buttons and then your categories are created. Next, we're going to talk about how to build your category templates. There's 2 templates. There's what we call the category homepage. So that's like your main page where you list all of the categories. And then there is the category archive page itself. So each one of your categories is going to have a unique URL and it's going to have the data, the listings. Remember, we call that an archive. And so you have the ability to edit 2 templates, the main category page and each archive. Both of these templates are pre-built for you. You don't actually have to do anything if you don't want to, but if you want to make some changes, I'm going to show you how. And then third, we're going to talk about parent pages and child pages. And this is going to be a lot more applicable for national directories because you're going to have states as the top level category and then cities as the child category. So the state is the parent category and the city is the child category. And I'll show you what that looks like in the URL and just show you how to map that out. So those are the 3 things that you'll need to know for categories, and wait till you see how easy this is. Let's dive right in. The first thing you're going to do, well, remember, we just created these listings. So we have our business type and we have our 2 locations. We need our locations to be the categories. We don't need to go in any more detail because we covered this in a lot of detail in lesson 1. Here's the first thing you need to do. You need to go to structure. So structure is where you are going to build the categories by default. And wait till you see how easy this is. What happens is you can map the field. So there's fields in your database, and technically you can make any one of these fields up here a category. There's most likely only 2 options. We can get into really, really sophisticated directories if you want, but I'm going to say 95 out of 100 times, probably closer to 99 out of 100 times, your field is either going to be your business type or your location, like we talked about last time. So I've already chosen my location as the category mapped out field. When I can't remember exactly what it looks like, but when you come here, there's an ability just to click this button, change field, and then these are all of your fields for you to turn into a category. Locations is the one I've already chosen, and then business type is the other one. So you choose if you're a location specific directory where you are making a directory all about the different business types in a particular city, a particular location, a particular state, whatever. Or you're a location-based directory where you have one business type and your categories are the locations. So my categories are the locations. I click locations, I click save, I sync it up, and then it's done. So now I have my categories. And you can see, if we visit the website, if I click right here on this pre-built categories template, this is all pre-built. This copy, all of these pages are here. My categories are already listed. And so every time I create another category, it is automatically going to be listed in my categories home page, right? This is the categories homepage template that we told you about. And so if I wanted to, I can create more listings, which I'm going to do right here. So let's do find listings. Let's create some more data. Let's say, find me all the dental implant clinics in, what's in the Wash Park, Colorado. Okay, and so now this is going to create my query. Right, so we'll search across Wash Park, Colorado for dental implant clinics. I'm going to run the query, and this will take a couple of minutes. So as usual, I'll pause. Okay, so that took a couple minutes. I now have 56 locations, or 56 listings, 3 locations. I'm going to refresh this so that you can see my new location. And if I go back to structure, my category is going to be there because I have already mapped out locations as my categories. I can't tell you how exciting this makes me. You know, to give you a little bit of context, this is one of my current directories. It's all the drug detox centers in the country. And when we built this, we had to pull listings across the entire country, across the entire internet, organize them by state in giant Excel spreadsheets with tens of thousands of listings, and then organize them by city. And what happens is if you mess up a single field, let's say a phone number is just in the wrong field, well, then all of the fields for the other tens of thousands of listings get messed up. And so, believe me, I mean, it's very worth it. This is a process, but you see right here, Greensburg, PA is a child page of Pennsylvania. And so we had to map out all of this data perfectly and then upload it into like a MySQL database. And so the fact that we can just do this is like really, really exciting. And so subsequently, if we come back to our category homepage, let's sync them. So all this information will port automatically. Sometimes if you want to speed up the process, you just have to sync the data to connect to the server. And then, right, you can see here that we have our categories. So this is how you create categories. Next, let's talk about the two different category templates. I already hinted at it a little bit. This is your category homepage. This is where you can look at all of your categories. So let's go back to pages. Okay, right here, this is your category home page. And so this is where you can customize, well, you can customize this to look however you want. This is the default template, and this is perfectly good. The most important thing about this page is simply that it links out to all of the categories. This is really important for SEO. We'll talk about this in like the SEO section. But if you do nothing but this, you're totally fine, and you'll still have like a perfectly structured directory. Nonetheless, if you want to edit this, you know, you can drag and drop this stuff over. Let's create a space right here. You know, let's put like a CTA in here for something, right? You can do whatever you want. All right, so we have that. And now, if we go here to the category template, we can also edit our categories individually. So this is the Englewood template. And you can see all of the templates that we have, right? So if I go here, this is the Wash Park template. This is the Sloan's Lake template. The pre-built templates are also perfectly good. If you click right here on the actual category, this is great. The way that it aggregates the data is perfectly fine. You don't need to change this unless you want to. I really recommend just leaving it the way that it is until you get a little bit more comfortable. However, in the category template, there's something really, really important that you need to understand, because now if you click on, because if we go back to structure and we click on the edit category, well, now we can change the title. This is called an H1 tag, the title, and we can put some SEO rich content here. So here, let's just say, find the best dental implant clinics in Englewood, CO, right? And then you want this to be about 200 to 300 words. I'm not going to do too much, but looking for a good dental implant clinic in Englewood, interested in, I don't know how to spell veneers. Let's see how badly I screwed this up. Oh, maybe I got it right. Or need dental surgery. Look no further. Obviously, this is terrible copy and terrible SEO, but I just wanted to show it to you. So if we save, we now have these keywords as the title of this category, of this archive. And by the way, I'll just call it like it is. This description, this content, I found another little bug while making this video. This content is going to go right here, which you want to do as well, because this is going to put more keyword rich content on the actual archive. Okay, now let's go through one last thing. And this is going to be really important for people that are building national directories. And in order to show you an example, I actually have to use my ketamine clinic directory. So this is one that I am building, and I kind of did it backwards because I've been importing the data before I had the site builder all built out. And so you can see here that I have a lot of locations. I went from the most populated cities and just worked my way down one at a time to get the most data. But what happens is I kind of screwed myself up because in my structure, I have all of the states and I have all of the cities. And so what's so important about this is you have to understand that when you put a city underneath a parent, all of these listings feed the state page as well. So it's let's take California, for example. It would be almost impossible for me to pull all of the data for ketamine clinics, all the ketamine clinics in the state of California. There's going to be thousands of them. It just doesn't make any sense, and there's no way I could actually organize it. So what you do is you go by city by city, but then you make the city the child category of the state. And then that way, every time you create a new listing with this new location, this listing feeds into the state. So you can see right here, if I go to this category page, I don't have a location for California, right? If I go to my listings right here, there's no location that is California. I just created a California category in my structure. I created a new category. I created a category for all 50 states. And then as I go through them, these child categories then feed the data to the state category. So I'll show you an example, right? Carlsbad, California. If we go to edit subcategory, this little button, we can do all the same things we just talked about, where we can put some keywords in here. But for this example, I am just going to type in California. And now this child category, Carlsbad, California, is going to live underneath California right here, Carlsbad. And now there's 26 listings. And there's 3 more listings in the state of California. And so now that category, I want to view the category. So now that category of Carlsbad is also, well, it needs to link through. Just give it a second. The database is still uploading everything. But now all of these categories are going to be linked through the top level. My state is going to be the parent. My city is going to be the child of the state. And all of my listings are going to feed through properly. So and my breadcrumbs are perfect, which is another really important SEO aspect. So keep in mind, when you create cities and you have cities underneath states, you don't want to pull the data from the states. You just want to create categories for the states. And then every time you run a new city, you just make sure you put that city as the subcategory for the states. Okay, so to review, we know how to field map our categories. 9 times out of 10 is either going to be the business type or the location. We know how to create our category pages, our category homepage, and our individual category archive pages. The templates are already built. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. In fact, I recommend that you don't do anything. It's perfectly fine the way it is. Get the data first, and then you can start getting fancy. And we talked about child categories for states. There's a lot of different examples for child categories and parent categories. Let's say you have a location-based directory and you have like contractors as a top level category. Well, then you have carpenters, electricians, plumbers, whatever. If you decide to categorize your directory that way, then contractors would be the top level category and all the other ones would be underneath, which is a great way to do it because then it's just impossible to pull all of the data for contractors, right? Like, what does that mean? And so you don't want to lose that keyword. You don't want to lose the archive for contractors, but you also don't want to bundle all of those keywords into one. So you need to create parent categories and child categories. Okay, that's categories. I just taught you everything in 15 minutes, like the most high-level directory building stuff that you need to know. Realistically, you can stop here and just do nothing but import data and build an amazing directory, which will get traffic. And if this is all you do, you're fine. Just keep doing it. Keep making the directory more and more valuable. Now let's go through some more details and let's talk about how to turn this directory into some money.